On the evening of February 9, 2004, a college student drove into the dark, cold woods of New Hampshire. Just hours later, she would vanish without a trace, leaving behind a puzzling mystery that still haunts investigators today. Maura Murray was a 21-year-old nursing student at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. Described by friends as bright and ambitious, she was on a path to success. But beneath her determined exterior, Maura faced significant personal struggles. Just weeks prior to her disappearance, she had been involved in a series of troubling incidents, including a theft of makeup remover from a local pharmacy. A police report indicated that she had been caught stealing, and though she was not charged, it raised concerns about her mental state. On the day of her disappearance, Maura packed her belongings, telling her professors she would be taking a week off for a family emergency. But this was a lie. Instead, she drove up to New Hampshire, a decision that would change her life forever. Friends later noted that Maura seemed stressed and anxious, possibly overwhelmed by school and personal issues. On that fateful night, she left a haunting voicemail for her boyfriend, but what she left behind would soon become a chilling mystery that gripped the nation. After Maura's car was found abandoned on Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire, the search for her began. It was a minor accident. Her vehicle had crashed into a snowbank, and the scene suggested she had attempted to navigate the icy roads. But when police arrived, they found no sign of Maura. Her belongings, including her phone and wallet, were left in the car, which only deepened the mystery. Responding officers noted that the area was remote and isolated, with thick woods on either side of the road. As search parties combed the area, they uncovered few clues. Local residents reported hearing a scream around the time of the accident, but it was impossible to determine if it was Maura's. The investigation quickly became complex. A timeline was established. Maura's car was discovered at approximately 7:27 p.m., and a passerby had reported the crash shortly thereafter. But where did she go after that? The police were faced with a perplexing question. Did she leave willingly, or was she in danger? The incident was classified as a missing persons case, but the lack of evidence only fueled speculation and rumors. As investigators delved deeper into Maura's life, they began to uncover a series of potential leads. One of the first theories was that she had planned her disappearance. Some friends claimed she had talked about wanting to escape her life, hinting that she might have wanted to start anew. However, others disputed this, emphasizing that Maura had plans for her future. The police also looked into her family history, discovering that her mother had passed away from cancer just a few years earlier. This loss weighed heavily on Maura, and it was suggested that it could have contributed to her emotional turmoil. The investigation took a dramatic turn when a witness came forward, claiming to have seen a woman matching Maura's description walking along the road shortly after her car was found. But the witness's credibility was questioned, as there were inconsistencies in their story. Could this sighting have been a crucial piece of evidence, or was it merely a mirage in a case filled with uncertainty? The lack of solid leads kept investigators and the public on edge, and whispers of foul play began to emerge. Months passed with no sign of Maura, but new developments began to surface. In 2006, a team of volunteers discovered a backpack in the woods near the location where Maura's car was found. Inside were some of her personal items, including a map of the area, a book on how to improve your self-esteem, and a few clothing items. The discovery reignited interest in the case, but it also raised more questions than answers. Why would her belongings be so far from the accident site? Did she intentionally leave them behind, or were they discarded? Investigators also tested the items for DNA evidence, but the results were inconclusive. The case was further complicated by the emergence of various theories, including the possibility that Maura had fallen victim to a predator. With no solid leads, the police continued to explore every avenue, but the mystery of her disappearance remained unsolved. In 2009, a man named John Smith, who had been charged with other crimes, claimed he had information about Maura's case. However, after questioning, police found no credible evidence linking him to her disappearance. As years turned into decades, the search for Maura Murray became a haunting cold case. In 2014, the case was featured on the popular podcast Missing Maura Murray, which reignited public interest and brought in new tips. Listeners were captivated by the complexity of her story, and many began to investigate independently. The podcast raised awareness and sparked discussions online, leading to a resurgence of interest in the case. Despite the renewed attention, no new evidence surfaced. Maura's family has continued to advocate for her case, attending vigils and maintaining a website dedicated to her memory. In 2020, the New Hampshire State Police declared that the case would remain open, stating that they would pursue any new leads as they arrived. The disappearance of Maura Murray remains an unsettling mystery, one that has left a permanent mark on the community and those who knew her. Her family still holds on to hope, clinging to the belief that answers will eventually come. As we reflect on the disappearance of Maura Murray, we're left with more questions than answers. What happened on that fateful night in February 2004? Was it a tragic accident, or did something more sinister take place? The theories abound, but the truth remains elusive. Some believe Maura may have chosen to start a new life, while others fear the worst, that she may have fallen victim to a crime. The lack of closure for her family and friends is a painful reminder of the fragility of life and the mysteries that can lie just beneath the surface. As we continue to discuss and investigate her case, we honor Maura's memory and the impact her disappearance has had on so many. Will we ever learn the truth about what happened to Maura Murray? The search for answers continues, and the haunting echoes of her story linger on.